Hardbody, how's it going everyone? So we're out again today. Another review, a little bit special for this one, something a little bit different. So we have the Jackall Squirrel in black and gold. Completely standard, nothing different about it. There's only one thing special to me for the following reason. My first ever tag jack was caught on a black and gold squirrel fishing trees. So today our plan is we'll try to catch our 300th Mangrove Jack. That will be my tagged 300th Mangrove Jack on a black and gold squirrel. So it's something that I've been working on a little bit. So yeah, a long time ago, I'll show you the pictures of the very first fish I caught on this lure. And then something special about that fish was about 3 years later, another guy I know named Todd caught the exact same fish about 100 meters away from where I caught it, which is pretty cool to think about. So yeah, this is sort of I've come full circle. I'm going back to the very first lure I used. We're going to do a review on it today, and hopefully we're going to celebrate the 300th tagged Mangrove Jack by myself. So without further ado, let's get into it. So there he is swimming next to the boat. Almost suspends dead even. So with these, because they're a little bit tail heavy, they kind of suspend more like this. Whereas like other brands will go dead flat, which is surprising given the middle hook, but yeah, sort of that sort of realm's pretty normal. It is currently today, what do we got today? We've got a top of 24 and we've got a 20 knot southerly. So it is very windy, but we've got a run out tide. It's about 10 o'clock at the moment and we're just gonna see how we go. So the plan is we're gonna fish a lot of these fallen trees that you can all see through here, because that's how I got my first tag jack. Wasn't in this system. It was in Limber Creek, which isn't too far away from us, but yeah, that's the plan today. Is we're just gonna try and see how I go, and then I'm gonna run you through why this is such a great lure, but the one problem I have with it. So I've only got one black and gold, so if we lose it, we're in a bit of strife. I do have a lot of the other colors, but yeah. So you can sort of see we got all these little bits of fallen tree through here, all these bits and pieces. Fishing jerk baits, when you're fishing jerk baits, there's a little bit of a knack to this, right? It's a less is more at times. With these fish, you can catch them on all different retrieves. So you can just get them on the straight wind through, or you can get the twitch, twitch, pause, twitch, 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 pause, and sort of got to keep winding that slack in between. The reason you got to keep winding that slack is there is a fair amount of current. So if you let it sit too long, look at all that current sitting there. So you almost have to stay in contact the whole time with the lure. But the idea is we just want to flick it into those little spots, those little hidey holes, give it a couple of twitches, and just sort of roll it out. You can see there's a nice little tree on side scan just chilling. So that's roughly in where we just flicked. That's the sort of stuff that we're aiming for. We want to be getting right in there to try and draw out any jacks if they're in there. Now, this color in black and gold has caught a lot of jacks. Good mate Benny absolutely loves it. This is the only color he'll throw in this lure. Absolutely loves his black and gold. So, important thing to think about is when you're running this, how much drag you run. So this is a reasonable amount. You don't want to run it too tight, because you're probably going to pull hooks. Unless they absolutely axe it, you're probably going to pull hooks. So a lot of it comes down to your leader. I'm running 40 pound on this setup. If you run much higher, you just lose too much action. The reason I run 40 pound is I like to let them hit it and turn and run with it. You got more chance as they turn, you get a second set of hooks through them. Because a lot of them will sort of short strike it. They might grab the tail or something like that. So, you know, you don't want to be going too overboard. But this sort of structure, it's unlikely that you're going to get absolutely roasted on, especially with 40 pound. Like I said, we're just aiming for these bits of trees. As you can see, there's a stack of laydowns here. It's a really good sort of structure to be fishing this in. It's got a great flash to it, like as this wobbles. It's probably one of the most famous known Barra and Jack lures. Like, they haven't reinvented the wheel here with anything. This has been around for a long time. A lot of people have them. Sticks like this are always a good little one. The ones that come right out, don't be afraid to put 2-3 casts into something. I'm a big fan of the twitching method these days. I used to just slow wind or sort of burn it, But I've just found just going that little bit slower can be a really good option at times. And also don't be afraid to cast up right in the shallows. I've caught a lot of jacks up in the shallows, as you guys have probably seen. I reckon I probably caught 90% of my jacks from up in shallow water. So while we flick the banks here, just sort of get into the motion, let's run through some stats. So out of the 299, like I reckon I'm between 299 and 295 currently. I haven't submitted some data in a while, so it's a little bit sketch, but I know I haven't cleared the 300. Depending which way I calculate it, I'm either, like I said, 299 or 295. So we're gonna call it 299 for today. So out of those fish, let's run through some stats. My average size is 39.5 centimeters. So just almost 35 centimeters, right? Rounding up. I've only had, I think, 15 to 20 recaptures. Most of them have been up north, but also, yeah, I have had a few from down this way. Nearly all the fish have been recaptured. I think only 2 of them got let go. All the others got eaten just because they were of legal size. I've now been jack fishing and tagging for 6 years. So that means on average, I'm tagging about 50 fish per year. My first year, I had an amazing run. I think I cracked over 100 tagged fish. And then as we get older, just things change. You start to get less time. So I've sort of backed off over the years. I still love doing it. It's just I don't get the time that I used to have. Out of all of them, my most memorable fish have got to be I'd say the glide bait one, the 56er on the glide bait, just because that was so cool and unique. The smallest one I got, I believe, is about a 16 centimeter, which is absolutely tiny, which I find hilarious. Pretty sure he was 16 centimeters. Took a 100 mil pointer, 110 mil pointer, the big deep diving pointer. And yeah, the biggest one I caught took a massive glide bait. So they definitely take a variety of lures. Now, as to when you can catch these fish, you can catch them year round. It's all depending on how much time and effort you're willing to put in. It's easiest when it's warmer. It's hardest when it's coldest is the best way to describe it. Now, there's certain things that'll trigger bites, certain windows and all sorts of stuff. But for me, like when you only get 1 day a week to try, you just try on that 1 day. There's no point getting wrapped up in things and, you know, what's a good moon phase, what's a good wind direction, even tides. Like, I've got certain tides that I like to fish at certain different places, depending on what I'm doing. Like if I'm frogging, an outgoing tide's never any good. You want a nice high incoming. You want to be able to get that lure up there to those fish. But when you're jerk baiting, I prefer probably a run out. Once again, it's always situational. There's a lot of creeks I fish that are tidal and you can only get into them at certain tides. Yep. Got something here. It's just sitting deep. Sitting very deep. Oh, I think we got a jack. I think I've done it. I think we just cracked the 300. We have 2. There you go. A little splash for the camera. I reckon he'll be lucky to push 35. He'll be very lucky to push 35, but there you go. I think I've done it. I think his number, yeah, I reckon, well, we have done it now, but he'll be lucky to go 35 by the looks of him, which is pretty much the average I've caught. There you go. Black and gold squirrel. So, still got to unpin him. Unpin him and I'll show you. Go, just the little fella. So we'll tag him, we'll chuck him back, we'll keep fishing. Hopefully number 301 is a better fish, but it doesn't matter. It's all a numbers game, which is just cool to see. So like I said, we'll tag him, we'll let him go. Now, I should have taken a photo of him, but I forgot to do that. He was just sitting here. There's this very old tree that come out. I caught a groper on this tree years ago. Like, I'm talking 6-7 years ago. Used to be a big old tree here. Caught a groper on it. It's probably the first jack I've ever caught on it. But yeah, number 300. So you've seen the technique. It's just pretty much what I've been doing. Just cast it out, get it down to depth, twitch it, install it, twitch it, install it. And you've seen, he just jumped on. Probably should have got a nice photo of him for a bit of a celebration, but like I said, it's just rinsing and repeating these days. I'd like a bigger one, but that's okay. Today's main reason was the lure review. The second reason was the celebration of number 300. So yeah, we'll just keep rinsing and repeating now. We're just going to keep fishing these laydowns. Going to fish a little bit more, but then we're going to cross over here. We've got some big logs with a lot of current. We'll see if we'll see how they perform really. So we're approaching just up here. We've got a clump of rock that sits just after this little mangrove stump here. So we're going to spend some time and pepper just this one little spot. I've caught 2 jacks off it recently and missed some half decent fish, but oh, what is this? What is this? What do we have here? This thing's hauling. It's got to be like a GT. Or have I hooked a shark? I think it's a GT. Yeah, it's a GT. It's the old G-banger. God, he was up shallow. Oh! Well, that's a decent fish. Decent little river GT. Grunty boy. Got to be careful with these fellas because that there is sharp. You don't want to get freaking done. But yeah, nice little 40s GT. A healthy fella, standing straight back. So, well, that's pretty good. We caught the jack just back there. We pick up that little GT there. Still holding up pretty good too. It's cool. It's cool. It's good. It was a good thing we braved this wind. We got a little video together now. Oh. Good weight to this. What we got? Big old cod, that's why. So we're definitely getting a bit of everything in the estuary today. So, the old codley. Good size one too. The old bucket mouth. So there you go, once again. Yeah, went quite well. So that was just, we've drifted away. I thought we were spot locked, but turns out we weren't. Just caught him over here, just fishing a tree. I've caught Trev off it, and I think I've caught a jack off it a while ago, but yeah, he just absolutely munched that as it went down. So third fish for the day on the squirrel in black and gold. So we've got the jack, the GT, and now the cod. So we'll keep fishing and then we'll get him out. I'll show you guys because we've got a little bit before we call it quits. Yeah, we'll head up around and we'll see how we go. Alrighty guys, so that is us done and dusted. So once again, there he is, the black and gold squirrel. So I think it weighs about like 13-14 grams. Really should have read the box better. They retail for about $24. Now, like I said at the start, they're a great lure, but they have one flaw. The flaw is more about this front hook. Because it is so big, it's extremely common when you're snag bashing, you get caught in trees. That's it. That's the only downside to it. It dives to about 2.5 meters, catches a lot of fish, as you've seen. I've had great success on it. They're about 80 mil long plus the bib. They're super sturdy. I've got like, I don't know, probably 15 of them sitting in my tackle box. I don't throw them as much as I used to, but if you want a jack lure, dead set, just get the squirrel. Like, it's got to be, it's up there in my top 3 hard bodies. Only, I reckon, in the terms of its depth, what it dives to, that sort of 2.5 meters, you can't really go past it. Like, it'll catch your barra, it'll catch your jacks. It's a sort of lure you'll buy once for 25 bucks, and that's it. You can get them on special for a lot cheaper, but yeah, I can't sing the praise of this lure enough. Over all of the fish I've caught over the years, definitely has been my favorite for a long time in terms of hard bodies. You can see there's, like, some of the ones I've got are just atrocious. I'll have to dig one out and show you in a sec, but in terms of gear, I throw this on my 6'6", 10 to 17 pound Dobbins. That is rigged with a 100 to tooler. So I like the compact because I got weird hands. Sounds funny, but I like compact so I can grip them better. I used to run the 200 Corrado on this, which was just another great setup. And then we just run 30 pound braid and 30 to 50 pound leader, depending what you're chasing. If you're up north and there's barra, bump it up. But if you're down here, you can get away with probably 30 pound. Just gives you the confidence to pull those fish out. I'll show you that other squirrel that's just destroyed. So this is my other one that is by far favorite for jacks. This thing is just, he has seen some damage. There's another one. I believe it's called Bleeding Mullet. It's like just white with a bit of black on top. That and black and gold and the squirrels, like I said, I can't sing the praise enough. Definitely if you want to get a hard body, I highly recommend these. So I've got about 15 of them in the tackle box. I used to throw them a lot. My mate Ben still does throw them a lot. They're great, especially if there's barra around. Like you've seen the technique today is just that twitch, pause. The only thing is, if you are going to be fishing them for jacks, the one modification that I like to run is I put a BKK on the front. So that, and then I also put so that is a Raptor, I believe, on the front. And then that is another BKK. I can't remember the kind, but it's probably coming to me later. I'll leave it on. That'll get it sitting dead level. And because this one's a lot smaller, you won't get snagged anywhere near as much. So if you want it purely for jacks, you can do that. Like I said, you can fish it straight out of the box, but you might have picked up today, I did snag a fair amount on trees. Doing that little modification, which is just changing the front hook and the back hook, solves that problem. Makes it sit dead flat instead of that little bit of a drop that they have normally. But yeah, well, that wraps up today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I'd be surprised. Everyone's heard of this lure. There's been plenty of reviews on it, but I just thought for the 300 special, let's go right back to the very first lure that I caught my tag jack on, and yeah, it's been a blast, guys. It's been a long time. It's very difficult when you live in Brisbane to tag jacks, but yeah, it's definitely been enjoyable, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one, eh?